This one that I'm going to talk about first came out at midnight. So you are the first people to ever see it. You're the first people that will ever get a chance to touch it down in the booth tomorrow when the exhibit floor opens at 12. After I'm done, I'm going to hand things off to Zimmy. We're going to be going over the Cross 12. A lot of buzz about those. They're amazing. Throughout it, any sounds of music outside of my voice that you hear will be pounding through these Express 12 2-series speakers. Amazing construction, 2,000 watts, wooden box, full adjustment, 16 presets. So what I've done is if I do a wedding at a Hyatt, once I get it tuned the way I want, I go into the presets, set it to Hyatt, and every time myself or another DJ works that venue, all they have to do is go to presets, press Hyatt, and it's already tuned for the room. So we'll be going over that as well. We'll be doing Q&A between, so we can switch over speaker lines. And again, at the end of this, we're gonna give somebody a DDJ Rev 5. I'm telling you now, these don't come out till September, so we will be sending it to you. You're not leaving the show with it, sadly. How fast they turn on you. Yeah. Wait till the next Bad Bunny request. Yeah, now I'm the bad guy. Yeah, I'm the bad guy now.
There you go. Where's Kyle from Seawater?
That anyone that didn't hear that earlier, should I do it again?
Yes.
If I do it really fast. But now that you've given the punchline, it's gonna. See me down in the booth. I'll tell you a cool joke. But outside of that, let's start right now, right here, with our newest 2-channel controller, the DDJ Rev 5. It's part of the Rev family, the Rev 1 and the Rev 7. What that Rev refers to is revolutionary, meaning it is set up in a battle-style configuration. Those of you that started battling, those of you that do turntables now, or the Rev 7 or Rev 1, understand that that concept means my pitch is up here on the top. I've got a full-size CDJ-style platter right here. It does not move. We came out with the Rev 7. Just show us the hands. Who here has a Rev 7? Okay. Another man in the back does. Yeah, there he is. He's got a Rev 7, you know. Rev 7 is its own animal. This is something where a lot of DJs came to us and said, I'm a CDJ type DJ. I'm not coming from the battle world, but I do like the layout. Is there any way you guys could conform it down to something a little bit more CDJ style? So we sat back, did the planning, and said, let's look at small club, bar, mobile DJs who want to pick up something lighter, that can live with 2-channel, that will run 4 decks, but it's 2-channel mixer in the middle. And this is really the outcome of that. Again, this will be in the booth tomorrow, so you all get a chance to mess with it. We'll end a little bit early so people can come up and check it out today as well. So let me just go through it, some of the outstanding features of the DDJ Rev 5. Starting over here, outside of the full-size platter, I've dedicated stems. You're messing around with stems now instead of MIDI mapping them. I have them dedicated up here. I can also change these to scratch bank. I can change them to cues. You can do a lot with this on the surface. I've got my looping feature. Up here, I'm going to go into detail in a little bit about our BPM auto transition. The best way to describe this is you set up 2 tracks. You tell it how many bars you want the tracks to mix. Then what happens when you engage it, if you're going from a low BPM to a high, it starts ramping the first deck's BPM up while it ramps the second deck's BPM down. When they meet, it transitions. So you get that really smooth transition going low to high, high to low. So it's not doing an auto mix. You're still moving everything, but it's allowing the BPMs to chase each other in one direction. Really sweet when it syncs up. It's going to be a creative tool that's going to really set you apart any and all events you're working. Coming over here, we have an S-style mixer, and what that refers to is our S5, S7, S11 style as far as the layout is concerned. 2-channel, but it does run 4 decks. I'm going to go into the pad mode in a second because this is pretty amazing, some of the things we have on this as a feature. Up here on the top, all the features you're used to. Locking your effects on and off with a toggle switch. We've had a lot of requests over time for toggle switches instead of just a push button. We've listened, we've brought them in. Then when I get down here to the pads, it's the standard pad modes you're used to, the hot cues, samplers, loops, but this will do 2 pad modes at once. By simply pressing hot cue and sampler, now what I've done is I have samples on the bottom 4, hot cues on the top 4. If you've never used dual cue modes, let me tell you, It's amazing. Once the pad changes on the top and bottom, entirely different game, because now you're accessing 4 different setups on 2 different decks. Just give me 1 second on this.
Jake, we get some people from the, there's some room.
Yeah,
over
there's
here.
some room on the sides over here.
Guys, come on in if you're out in the hall.
So the bottom would just be the top row of your samples, right?
My bad. And
You can do samples in the bottom.
But no, but I mean, like, when you do this dual pad, it would be your top 4 samples.
Yeah, it would be the first 4 that you have.
First 4 of each on the stack, right?
If you do just sample, yeah, it would be 8.
Like, if you do the dual sample, the dual pad mode, the top 4 of each one.
No, top 4 would be the first, like hot Q and sample.
Hot Q would be on the top.
Top
the first
sample.
4, and then the bottom would be your first 4 samples.
Yes. Okay. Can we just turn up the mic in the room just a little bit more, please? Got a crowd outside.
We've got some seats to fill in on this side if you guys want. There's room against the wall. Come on in.
Bringing more people will obviously lower the ambient temperature of the room as well, because I'm pretty excited about the fact that it's a cool day up here at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in beautiful Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Tornado warning.
Tornado warning tonight at 7 p.m. I'm dead serious. Cousin Lisa sent it to me. It's got to be true. So you not only get to go into dual mode, you get to go into pitch play, where I can take my cue point and then mess around as far as changing the pitch. You say, oh, that's pretty cool. So if I've got, this thing set, and it'll keep it at that pitch. Then when I go back to the original, it'll bring it back. Use it as a transition tool, use it as a remix tool. Where it gets a little bit crazy though, is this. Using the same concept, we've now put in piano mode. So piano mode now allows you to go up in key.
It's kind of hard to tell on this screen, but these are white and these two are blue, almost like you're looking at the black and white keys of a piano.
The red one is always your original cue, so it's your original note, but then you can transition. So again, as Zimmy said, the top row that are blue here are my black keys, the bottom are the white keys. I spent 12 years studying at Juilliard and Berkeley. Don't snide me with my piano ability, okay? I have things on the wall that state I'm an amazing pianist, okay?
Typo!
Someone get a piano.
Okay.
Is the bar open?
Is this a Serato feature or is this a Pioneer feature?
This is
So
working in
weird you mentioned
Serato. And if I didn't say it at the beginning, this is not only Serato, but it is Record Box DJ as well.
All the same features.
All the features work on both programs?
There's 1 or 2 features that don't. I will get the exact ones that don't. But as it stands right now, everything I'm doing today is run through Serato Pro DJ.
What about the stems? Are they through Record Box?
Stems are through Record Box or Serato. Yeah.
Cool.
So either one of those, either setup is going to work.
Because the stems are actually analyzed on the controller itself, not the actual software, correct?
No, they're done
no.
they're totally done in the software.
Okay.
Yeah. So going into something with stems, it's all being done within the software.
I noticed, like, when I run stems on my SRT, my CPU goes up a little bit, but when I run them on my Flex 10, it has the Serato, the stem buttons actually on the hardware itself. It doesn't put that much stress on the CPU.
Are you actively analyzing them, or are you doing it on the fly or
I do it
before?
on the fly. I don't load them. I don't load them. They aren't analyzed on load.
Right.
They have to actually
You do it per track.
per track.
And this is my new computer. I was using a 2013 MacBook Air that's still floating around the unicorn, as well as 2015's. I'm just going to tell you that the hard, cold, cruel reality of this world we live in for stems, if you're not running an M1 series or above, you're going to suffer. It's going to bring the usage down, the heat up, and it is going to bog things. So if you want to get into stems, I'm using them pretty sparingly, and this is an M1 Pro Edition. Try to get a newer computer. We've all gotten away with using 10, 12-year-old computers forever. but the time has come, I'm afraid, with technology, that you really need to get that kind of CP set up. So, you know, this is doing it pretty quickly on the fly because, you know,
Also, your Flex 10 has a
USB-C.
faster processor in it than your 1000 SRT, so it's gonna have a smidge less lag.
It has USB-C too, so
Yeah,
it
it's
has
gonna have-
faster
that-
transfer
It's
rate.
gonna have
I've
that in your
been in
computer.
one computer.
And once you analyze your stems on load, the next time you load them,
They're
they're already there.
they already have that information. So
You will see a difference with Rekordbox in that because the analyzation feature works differently than with Serato. I find it's quicker. I find it does it more efficiently. It's, you know, it's the way it is. It's the way Rekordbox DJ is kind of designed. Obviously now with a lot of cohabitation that we've got going on, you know, we'll see features change as the future comes as far as things upgrading, but either one of these will work amazingly well with it. The stems thing is a big feature that people have been asking for. Just show of hands. How many people are using stems, different events, weddings? Awesome. Okay, well, good call on the stems feature. Yeah.
What took so long?
Hey Jay, what do you think about stems? Nobody's gonna use them. Yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna use them, obviously. Wow, that's awesome. And then on the right side, it's mimicking everything on the left side. So, really good piece. I see this slotting in. If you're coming off of an SX, even a 1000, if you want to go to just 2 channels, with the ability to do dual deck or 3 decks, even with only 2 volumes, this is a piece that you're really gonna find works well. It's a lighter weight, it's XLR out. I know a lot of people worry about the famous power bricks and what would happen if the power brick broke or I shut my case and I broke it. This is USB-C. This will run, not every computer, so I'm not telling you to do that, but I've run it off this computer with XLR out, with no problems. So in a pinch, I could move my USB-C charger from this to this. I could get a brick that's 12 volt or above and charge this and get it running. So it's just another feature looking at the landscape of what we do for a living and how many of us have closed a case and you're ratcheting it down because it won't close, only to find out that your cable's sticking out a little bit and you're in a pinch the next day. So that's a huge feature in my book. I didn't mention, but this is also 2 USB-C inputs. So I can have 2 laptops. So if I've got a second DJ, if I'm transitioning in a club, and what I mean by transitioning in a club would be another DJ's coming on. I don't want that to be, you know, you don't have to, the transition thing. Just, too soon?
Oh, you drinking Bud Light over there?
Is the bar open? Seriously? We'll be after this. So again, we've brought features that you wouldn't really expect from a controller at this level, especially something like having the 2 USB inputs. So dual laptops, transition at an event, bringing another DJ in, whatever the case might be. So I want things to move kind of quickly today because it is super hot in here and I want to keep everyone comfortable. So first we'll do this. Questions, things I haven't touched on with the Rev 5.
2 things I just want to mention that we're not going to get into because we don't have a ton of time, but the pad modes that we discussed about, the piano mode that's super exciting. We have another mode. I don't know if anybody produces music here, uses Ableton Push, other products that have a chromatic, basically like, I don't know how to play a keyboard mode, help me out. But basically, we can set it so you will never hit a wrong note, which is fantastic. Also with our stems and soloing, you can double tap and go right into solo a stem. You can also solo stem during a transition. Basically, there's so many ways now to mix EQ. You can have your low, mid, and high EQ knobs basically function as knobs for stems if you want to bring your drums, your melody, your vocals in and out with more of a knob feel. So basically, like, however you like to mix, you can get so much more creative with it, so.
Yes. Any questions about the Rev 5, things we're gonna go into?
Is the piano mode multi-touch or single touch? So can you play chords or is it single?
Single touch.
Stem mode, you've got low, medium, high, you've got 4 stems. How does that work out if you want to bring down, or do you have just 3 stems?
On this, with Serato, you have 4 stems. With Record Bucks, you have 4 stems as well. 3 stems. 3
Right
stems.
now.
Well, with Serato though, if you have 4 stem buttons, correct?
Yeah.
Right, so if you wanted to bring down, say, the bass, and you've only got low, medium, high, you've got 3 knobs. What do you bring
Vocal,
it down?
melody, drums.
Melody drums, okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
Have you tried with a USB-C power off like a power bank, like a little portable charger?
Yes. Worked.
Wow.
Don't look. This
We're
is,
not recommending-
This is in
yeah.
case of emergency.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm gonna double up on what Jay said. I just worked at DMC last night. There were people that had issues performing, and they were purely laptop based. So like, if you're thinking about making that purchase, things are moving. The Serato 3.0 with the stems and this is your cliff. Like if you're on that fence, just upgrade. It's time.
Is this a Serato feature that's coming, or is it already out?
What's Serato feature?
As far as the actually using EQ for.
This is basically just hardware controlling
Yeah.
how you use stems.
Yeah.
So this is just effectively MIDI mapping and then how you are bringing them in and
This is
out.
it's all going back through
Yeah.
the software. That's
It's-
like the onboard effects are software effects. They're not onboard hardware.
You're saying
Where
I can go home right now and I can EQ my mids or my actual.
If you steal that, yeah.
you mean in Serato?
This is effectively a hardware upgrade. So every time we roll out a piece of hardware, we're rolling out new functionality. So on this new piece,
Okay, so it's on this hardware.
we're giving you
Yeah.
more ways, but it integrates
I
the
need to
software
upgrade.
and Rekordbox seamlessly, so you can.
Well, and to be honest, we're running a beta version of Serato that's coming out with this. So this launch is tied in with a new version of Serato that'll come out. You see that a lot with our products. If we have a big launch, usually the next day or two, you'll see Serato will launch a new that'll include certain control.
So I need to wait for the Rev 7 2.0.
As far
To
as
get the motorized platform. To do that.
no, oh, you mean will we flash the software, the firmware on the Rev 7 to match
Right, I have a
this?
hard-
No,
I have a Rev 7
yeah,
and
no.
this is cool, but I want the motorized.
You want all those modes on the Rev 7?
Yes.
As I'm to understand,
How much can I pay for that?
like all the modes on this going into the Rev 7?
We can't comment on future firmware updates, but the beauty of firmware is it's updatable. So we try to look ahead, but obviously like there's certain things we can't plan on in the future. So stuff like this, if we can integrate it into a Rev 7 update, you're good to go.
Hey,
Yeah.
The stems, like on the Flex 10, you can use the effects button.
Yes.
Can you do that on them, or you can single like just the vocal and use the effects on
Yes.
just the vocal,
Yeah.
or just the drum or whatever, like the
Yep.
echo?
And it's all going to be again. It's all the software driven.
Yeah.
So you're putting the effects on either one, or you're EQing against it.
Cool, all right.
Onboard effects and pre-fader, post-fader.
Post fader, not on board on software, but post fader.
Can you explain how the BPM transition thing works? That new.
The way it works is you tap 2 tracks. Let me load tracks.
Anybody here have a Flex 10? That guy? Wow. Shout out that guy. So if anybody went to NAMM or saw any demo videos, shout out Priya Joni, PJ right here that makes our videos. If anybody watched the Flex 10 videos, you can see an example of how you can basically start to pick transition points. So effectively you can line up 1 point on track A, 1 point on track B, and when it reaches track A point, it'll start to cue track B, and it'll mix based on how far in it is. Same thing here, only it will actually change BPMs for you. So you're at 95 and you need to get up to 110. You just basically pick, I mean, there were some other products like, what was the app that will DJ for you, Pyro or whatever. Like, it's basically the same concept. It'll find the median, and over the amount of bars that you select, it will do the transition for you, which is great if you have to go to the bathroom. Yes, sir?
Is there a chance of seeing like a Rev 5 with motorized planners, maybe like a Rev 10 coming out?
Don't push it. It's never enough.
Seriously?
Basically what happens is like we have the Rev 1, which is entry level. I just started DJing. I don't know if I want to like commit a huge paycheck to this. Let me try it out. This is our mid-level, but still I would call this pro. you know, you could definitely take this somewhere, and the quality is such. You've got the big boy inputs, outputs, all that, and then the Rev 7 is our highest like premium pro level. So we probably, I mean, I can't say, but I think, you know, you would go from your Toyota to your Lexus.
I own the 1 and the 7.
Yeah.
The 1's my.
Well, bro, there you go.
7
Complete the set. Aren't you a collector?
I probably would.
Nice.
Two questions. One, on your set where that BPM that you put, does it have to be right in the middle, or can you set it up a little bit higher, a little bit lower? And part two, since this is all software driven, is that a feature that's going to be rolled out to other controllers, or is this going to be solely for the Rev 5?
He's learning how to DJ. We'll get it. I mean,
Juilliard! Stick to the piano.
he's not a piano player.
I'm not one of those big flashy, cool club guys. I make a lot of money doing weddings, so I apologize up front. Like a lot of money in weddings.
A good rule of
No,
thumb is
the
anytime.
transition tracks work really well. It's coming up with the tracks you're going to use, because that's an example of just two. It doesn't. It's moving the BPM, so at least it gives you the spectrum of tracks playing. This is playing slow now because I matched it up to a Bad Bunny track. Bad Bunny track's playing normal because it transitioned over. So it ends up taking the two tracks and moving them into their own spots.
Come see us on the floor tomorrow. To your second question, a good rule of thumb is anytime a new big software change happens, it's usually not available on future updates. I mean, we wouldn't get rid of something that's available. Like, again, what we said before is this hardware is effectively giving you new ways to use the software, the way you can stem EQ with the knobs and things like that. So it's almost like a glorified MIDI mapping.
What's the retail of that gonna be?
Retail of this is
$10.99.
$10.99.
Unless you buy it from Amazon.
Excuse me?
The RX3, with these features, would it be an upgrade for the standalone unit?
You mean will a firmware update on the RX3 feature these?
Oh, sorry.
We're getting there.
I can't really comment on what's going to be in firmware updates in the future. I don't necessarily work on that, but anything is possible.
Yes.
Anybody else? Moving on. All right. We're going to do a quick audio changeover, and then we're going to show you guys the Cross 12.
This is just the beginning.